Chat room. How about that? Heck the Astros. I am seeing it in chat. Heck the Astros. The Astros lost today. The Mariners won. Holy crap, the Mariners won on a day the Astros lost.
It's a
What a
miracle.
time to be alive.
Why are people telling me to make it clap?
Make it clap, Joe. Make it clap. Get oil up, man. Heck
No
the
shot.
Astros.
No shot.
So you're saying there's a chance. Mariners only 4.5 back now, chat.
I love the false sense of hope.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm in.
I mean, honestly, I look at this and it's like, I feel so bad for Scott right now. Like, I don't know if you're there with me, but man, I look at this game and what a fun game. After, like, in the 8th inning, the game actually became fun for a little bit. But I don't know. I think that overall, a game like today is something the Mariners needed. They needed the camaraderie of a game. Thank you for moving me over.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm so. Like,
you were like in the corner. No one puts baby in a corner. All right.
That's right. But yeah, like W to Dan, W to Edgar. Obviously, they fixed it. You know, they fixed the team. Chat.
They were the answer,
just like we all expected. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously they have not had a chance to instill any sort of thoughts into this team. Both Dan and Edgar have been with the team, like, so it's not like there's anything new. So I don't know, just a fun game all around after the 8th inning.
I mean, obviously the shift in tone in this game. So like the first several innings 1 through 7, where it's like Randy just looks disconnected, just not like he wants to be on the field, like at the dish, in the field, just like making lazy plays, whatever. Dumb Lego guy was there, boys. W. Becoming a member, actual member, no gifties. That's like him becoming a member, which is sick. And like people just tweeting like Scott, watching this at home. I feel like, was it the Oprah gif where she's like the shrug thing, where it's like, I think you've used it before, where it's like Scott watching like all of his like former players strand runners on base, up until, of course, that 8th inning where Tyler Rogers just doesn't have it, and the bottom of your lineup goes crazy and just rattles off hit after hit after hit. They go to a pitching change, and of course then they get shut down. The pitching change went huge, but who up Terran? Is it pronounced Vavra?
I don't know.
Vavra?
I think Vavra sounds funnier.
There you go. He's the GOAT with the fire emoji. Dorian, appreciate your $1.99. Andrew Schoengarth, comeback Phoenix Screech. Oh no. I hate it. I hate it every time.
The Mariners are back, baby, from the ashes. Victory Screech. Yeah, it is a fireworks show right now.
Pause the live. I'm watching the fireworks show. No, Felipe, sorry.
Yeah, Randy is something that I think we got to talk about, because man, he has looked bad at the plate. He has been atrocious.
He just doesn't look like
2 weeks now.
He doesn't care. And it's I think it was either his first or second at bat. They were talking about his approach. I think it was his first at bat. And Blauer's like, yeah, like sometimes he just stands there and intentionally takes pitches, like whatever. Bro doesn't look like he's intentionally taking. He just looks like intentionally uninterested. Well, you know what I mean?
There have been ones where he looks like he doesn't.
No, I completely agree there. But I'm saying, like, for tonight specifically, there's Dorian's super chat on stream. He'll just watch a ball, like, it's not necessarily like down the middle, but it's obviously a fastball in the zone, and you've got 2 strikes and he just doesn't care. So it's like, what are we doing? I don't understand like where you're being checked out is coming from. Like, not to say that prior to this game the 1-8 road trip had any positive mental effects, but like, I don't know, you're returning home, like there's obviously some sort of like change in like clubhouse, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, this is like the worst first impression you could have ever made,
right?
You know?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different moving parts to it. Obviously he loved Tampa,
sure,
and like I'm sure he's a little upset about that whole thing.
I'm a sad panda.
He's a sad panda. The Mariners, I mean, ever since he's gotten here, they've been ass.
Sure.
for the
But
most part.
he had a
And
good stretch like when he first came over. It's just like
mhm.
so different now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to me, but it is what it is. I mean, he just looks lost at the plate. But I think overall, the team today had some decent at bats. They still struck out way too often,
14
but they
times,
had
right?
they had some decent at bats. I think they walked like 8 or 9 times,
Mm-hmm.
and so
8 times.
that was it. 8 times, yeah. So they walked 8 times. They couldn't do anything. They had plenty of opportunity today to move runners along, and they didn't do it until they got to the 8th inning. And just all of a sudden, for some reason, they were seeing Tyler Rogers just really
Like
well.
the most like I think unexpected guy that you could see well, unless it's just everyone decided, yep, we can definitely read the pitch out of the like what 4 inches off the ground. Like I don't know.
Right, yeah. Dragging his knuckle on the ground. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
weird.
Very bizarre.
Um, Joe staring into my soul for a second there.
I was being Jorge Polanco because Dorian said he doesn't ever look sad or like whatever. He just like genuinely looks like there's no other way to describe it. He just looks like he's zoned out all the time.
What was the issue with Scott Servais? In my opinion, nothing. I think that it was just time for him to go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that I don't think that this whole change in managers is going to actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see.
I mean,
don't know.
they're 1-0 since the manager change. Okay, so clearly it's doing something.
With a walk off.
Yeah, so the vibes couldn't be any better if you're only looking at the last 3 innings. Can we talk about Castillo?
About how he loves to give up home runs?
Dude, like what? I understand that last year there was a problem for him as well. He was top 10 in the league at like 28. Gilbert was in that. I think he was he allowed 29 last year. 29?
29?
But previously in 2022, sure, he missed like 8 starts. But he only gave up 13 in 150 innings. He's given up 22 in around like 160 innings this year. It's just like, I don't know. It's tough, but Watermelon Catman. Finally, I'm somewhat happy about the Mariners. W. Appreciate your $1.99. Plenty to be happy about tonight. Except for maybe innings 1 through 7, but yeah.
Appreciate it, Watermelon. What was it? Watermelon Super Cat? Watermelon Catman.
Watermelon Catman.
That's a hell of a name, man. Appreciate your first super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Can we all agree that Scott Servais would have screwed tonight's game up? I mean, I don't know how he could have. It was a pretty straightforward game, honestly.
Like you go down early, you go down big 5, and then Troy Taylor probably comes in, I think, regardless after Castillo. Like,
right.
I don't know another reliever that he might go to in that situation, like Voth, Thornton, but I feel like they pitched. I mean, they had an off day, I guess. I don't know. Or they go to Spire there first instead, but I don't know. Taylor worked out of a jam. Spire struck out 2 in his inning. Looked fine. Munoz was obviously lights out, striking out the side, and then Snyder just money. Love Colin Snyder.
We haven't played that type of small ball in IDK win. I mean, they had 6 straight hits. They said in like July of 2023, so last year, underneath Scott Servais, by the way.
So it's the walk to Lamont Wade Jr. that we're like, that's the pinpoint moment where like
pinpoint. All right,
where like Scott doesn't do that and then he hits a nuke and then the game's over. I mean, sure, we could play that game all the time. If that's what makes us happy tonight, I don't care. They won a game, I'm happy. Like I'm jazzed that they won this game. If they went out limp 5-1 in this one, I would have been a very, very sad human being because they had so many opportunities. Birdsong walked 4
at least.
I think, yeah, he walked 4 in 4 innings. Like they had so many runners just consistently throughout the entire game and just like never came to fruition until that 8th inning. Like, I mean, Rogers, 6 hits, 4 earned, didn't record an out. So that's a yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Wilson's statue. Build the statue.
Is Dan Wilson going to turn things around?
They're going 34-0 the rest of the year, or 33-0. Oh yeah, 33-0 from this point on. So expect nothing less. If you do, you're not a good fan. You're letting them fail, and you are not giving your team the best chance to succeed. So take that with what you will. I'm kidding.
Cameron Maben saying Servais wasn't a good communicator. I don't know what Cameron Maben was talking about, to be honest with you. You saw all the guys today talk about how bummed they were about the whole Servais news. Like the players on this team loved Scott. Like, I don't know where Cameron Maben's getting all this info from.
It's
guy
probably
who played
the fact,
for like
yeah,
2 months here and sucked ass, but
he just like wasn't really a part of that core, or like doesn't have to be part of the core, like just like a long-term like person on the team. He just wasn't that. So him speaking on that just, and also that was like the beginning of Scott's like regime, right? Like he had no chance to like build any sort of like, I guess like rapport with a lot of the core guys. Like, I don't know. Not to say that it was like a very good pivotal moment, but the track suits last year, I don't know many other managers that are going to do that, whether or not it was a good idea, because that's then kind of started the downfall. But I don't know. Like a bunch of the videos of people posting Scott after they clinched, like him celebrating, that was very like a sentimental moment today. I saw a couple going around. I was like, oh, my heart.
Yeah, there were some really good Scott moments that I saw, and I was like, damn, man, I'm gonna miss that guy. Those high fives were telling something. Yeah, a guy that has been with this organization for his entire professional career got his first managerial win. That's what it's telling. Like, they're excited for a guy that they know. They're excited for a guy they've worked with for a long time. It doesn't mean they like Dan Wilson more than they like Scott Servais. It just means, hey, we're proud, we're happy for you, Dan. Glad and it was obviously on a walk-off when the team hasn't been able to hit. Like,
Yeah.
obviously vibes were high.
I think if they win this game 1-0 as well, like, I feel like you're probably still going to get a pretty resounding reaction, being that it's his first managerial win, like for a major league club, as like the team that he has been a part of in or around forever. Like, that's, I wouldn't have expected less in getting a win in the first game. Sure, it comes with very great circumstances in a walk-off, but even so, I would have expected pretty much maybe not the exact same thing, but something similar.
You're disappointed in the organization. Yeah, Rodney, we're all right there with you, man. The way it was handled was pitiful. I'm sure that eventually we'll kind of find out more about how, like, who leaked it and everything, but probably not anytime soon. I would say probably not until at least the end of DePoto's regime.
Dude, Scott's going on foul territory tomorrow for the tell-all. Okay,
that's right. Yeah.
How much does it cost to buy the Mariners? Probably like $2 maybe 3, something like that. Like $7 and some change, maybe. I don't know.
I tweeted something controversial earlier, Joe.
I don't think you really did.
I was actually shocked. Actually, chat, I want to get your thoughts on it. Joe, can you make a poll for me really quick?
Fantastic news.
Chat, I think that Scott Servais is a Mariners Hall of Famer. Before we put this poll up, let me give my reasoning.
So I shouldn't hit start poll? Got it.
Not yet. Second most wins in Mariners history, albeit second longest tenured manager. Second highest winning percentage. The 2021 through 2023 have been the second winningest period in Mariners history in basically the 50 years that this club has been around. Scott Servais was found his way into 2 Manager of the Year award. He didn't win
finalists.
Yeah. He ended the drought, of course. He led the team through COVID along with like social unrest throughout the country for like a year and a half, 2 years. Like, Scott Servais deserves to be in the Mariners Hall of Fame. Put it up, Joe. Yes. Does he deserve to be in the Mariners Hall of Fame? Chat, let me know. Oh God. Let's go.
54%. Accent, you think Divish is gonna be spewing stuff? I saw your comment about Passan talking about Scott and unresolved things. I hadn't seen anything. I also haven't been super tuned into it. I was editing a members video today for the large part of the game. And so I also took an hour and a half nap earlier. So if anything happened today as far as Mariners news related things outside of like the game, I didn't really see it, but
yeah, I worked all day.
Who knows? The city connects. True.
Cool. He made the playoffs one time. Let's make him a Mariners Hall of Famer. He did a lot more than just make the playoffs one time, but hey, that's the second most in Mariners history. Making the playoffs one time is literally the second most in Mariners history. Robbie Ray versus Jordan. What about Cal Raleigh versus Domingo Acevedo? How about that? How about that call to put him in there? No? Okay.
What about the rally against the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
And have George Kirby come in and close the game.
Didn't happen because what about Robbie Ray versus Jordan, Joe?
Yeah, I know.
What about that?
True. Big if true. What a W today. Facts, Rocky. I mean, I'm seeing the City Connect love. I think a bunch of people also said just wear them the rest of the year. Anytime you're at home, wear them the rest of the year. I don't care. I'm fine with it. I mean, you'll have to get creative with like the laundry days, the laundry cycles, depending on how many specific City Connect jerseys each player has. But it might get a little, some of the jerseys might get a little gross. Turner's already looks gross with the big pine tar stand on the back. So however many he's got lined up for that for City Connects, I don't care. Make it happen.
And we know the Fanatics can't give them extras. So.
Every game, even on the road? If they wear it every game, I mean 33-0 the rest of the way. Or what they're 12-1. So every 13 games they'll lose. So they'll get 3 losses the rest of the way technically. 30-3 if they wear the City Connects the rest of the way. I'm in. Maybe even 31-2 if you somehow catch the loss, like the cycle of the loss in there at the end. It could work out nicely, but what do I know? Force the MLB to let the Mariners use them all the time. Let's go march down there right now and go let them know. Yeah, you're contemplating over there. What's going on, buddy?
I was reading Connor's comment. It was very long.
Okay.
I don't know, Connor. Like, I think that the way it needs to work is they need to go out there and like look at other options this offseason. And then if they decide that Dan is the guy, then re-sign Dan.
Dan is the man.
There was another one I wanted to read here. Oh, someone asked. Sorry, I missed who it was. Do the Mariners induct Cal Raleigh into the Hall of Fame if he stays? I think he doesn't even need to stay. I think they still do it. He's he will probably end up being the best catcher in Mariners history. Sorry, Dan.
He will pass Dan Wilson under Dan Wilson's managerial term.
Yeah,
as far as best Mariners catcher.
Exactly. Obviously, he has one of the most iconic moments, probably the second most iconic moment, maybe third in Mariners history, with the walk-off to send the Mariners back to the playoffs. He is on that, that route to passing, who was it, Piazza or Bench? For
Bench,
Piazza,
I think Bench was at 85 or 87 or whatever.
Piazza was like 93.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cal deserves a statue. Honestly, he might. What do you guys think about Robles not playing it? I mean, he was hurt.
Yeah, it's just the hip thing.
He hit the wall hard, yeah. And then
he was on
almost
deck.
Came in.
Yeah,
he almost came in. If Rivas had gotten out, he would have been the next guy up.
54%. Nope, it's 55. Ian, nice try. If I hit end poll, it probably would say 54%, which is terrible.
As Ty Dane Gonzalez would put it, if Scott had the role, the intentional walk to Wade wouldn't happen. I mean, there's a chance that you intentionally walk Wade there, and all of a sudden the guy hits a 3-run home run, and now you're down by 3.
It was Conforto, right?
Yeah, like the guy who already hit a home run in this game. Like, there's just so many ways you can look at this. I think that walking Wade there was the right move, but yeah, I don't know. See that Montgomery fired Boris. Montgomery also just got sent to the bullpen today by the Diamondbacks. So, yikes. Mike Z, close mention. Yeah, probably the third best catcher in Mariners history, and then Kenji Jojima's right there as well.
Sleeping on Rob Brantley.
True.
Rob Johnson.
And real. Jeff Clement. Hey, Vinny, what's up, man? Heck the Astros.
Thoughts on the Castillo outing? Just can't avoid the long ball. He struck out 9. I mean, Giants struck out more than the Mariners did today. 18 strikeouts to 14. But, yeah, the long ball just, like, I don't know. Ramos got every single ounce of the baseball that he hit. Bro absolutely tanked that ball. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. The home runs have become a problem for Castillo the last 2 years. I don't know. I looked at his stats earlier. He wasn't like great about avoiding the long ball earlier on in his career, but like once he kind of reached his like peak, if you want to call it that, his home run really wasn't a problem. Like 2019, he gave up 22, and then 2021, he gave up 19. 2022, in 150 innings, gave up 13. So far in 2024, in 153 innings, he'd given up 19 before tonight. So in 160 innings, we'll call it, he's given up 22. So the home run ball, I mean, it didn't matter ish. I mean, it mattered up until the eighth inning, where the Mariners then tied the game, which was incredible. But yeah, five earned was a bit too much, I think. I can live with like three or like probably three. But that last home run by Ramos was like, okay, this was not a good start by Castillo.
You know what's very strange is that the Mariners specifically, for a team that plays 81 home games at a noted hard to hit in ballpark, they have had over the past few years guys in like the top 2 or 3 that give up home runs. I think in 22 it was Marco and Robbie Ray were like number 2 and number 3 or something like that.
Robbie Ray was second, yeah, with 32.
Yeah, and like yeah, it's wild, man. Like for a team that plays in T-Mobile Park, the fact they have so many guys giving up homers is crazy. Ichiro as manager, Griffey as manager. I honestly don't think they would ever want to do that. Either of them.
Do you think, out of anyone, say if they're bringing back the vibe of 95, who would be next on your list to join the coaching staff?
Oh, like not necessarily manager, but just coaching staff in general.
Yeah, so say like obviously Dan's the manager, Edgar's the hitting coach. Like who would you bring next in of the 95 team if the Mariners organization is going to continue to pander, if you will? I think the answer is Jay Buhner, but
the popular one's going to be Jay Buhner here.
Yeah.
Jay Buhner's a pretty polarizing guy, so I don't know about that. But I was going to kind of go with Joey Cora there, Justin. That's where I was going to go, with Joey Cora as like a bench coach. I mean, he's already the third base coach for the Tigers or something like that. So, yeah.
Who would be the best third base coach?
Harold Reynolds would be a good one. God, who would be the best third base coach?
I think third base could be a position that could be vacant. Not say like Act is gonna leave or whatever, but like I don't know. Like if I had to pick a spot, that'd be where I'd go. Who would I want just waving guys in? I think Buhner could be funny over there, just because I feel like he'd be so animated.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he'd be the best one. I'd say Reynolds would be a good one for it because obviously like triples, like stole a lot of bags, he had speed, but I don't know. It's just like funny.
Other guys that not necessarily 95, but like
of course, yes.
Mike Cameron. People were saying Mike Cameron's a good one. Mark McLemore, I think would be a fun one as well. Richie Sexson, Mike Blowers. There you go. That'd be a good one. I think to bring back. That's a guy who for some reason I didn't think of. Blowers would be a fun one. Jay Bruce, yes. Carlos Guillen, A-Rod. Yeah, I Brett Boone again. I think he's another very polarizing figure. So I don't necessarily know how well that would work for the current team, but Jose Lopez, okay, all right. 53%? Are you guys kidding me?
I ended the poll. It said 54 when I hit end, but it went down. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
You know what Lou Pinella's winning percentage was?
54%.
Mm-hmm.
Shock. Imagine my shock and awe. Oh, Lou.
Vogelbach, baby.
Stop.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the end, good for Dan, good for Edgar for, getting their first win out of the way. I think that if the Mariners are to have any chance at this thing, they probably need to go on like I don't know, what kind of pacing? 33 games left. What do you think, like, for them to end up winning the division, what does their record need to be?
To win the division? I think they have to get to 89 or 90 wins to win the division. I like that is where let me see. How many we're 4.5 back? Astros are 69 and 59. So they need 21 wins the rest of the way. They need to go 21 and 13 to get to 90 wins.
To go like 20 something and 8 or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be 25-8
Yeah.
to get to 90-72. I think if they get 20 wins and finish at 85-77, they're on the outside looking in. I think if you get to 86 or 87, there could be a chance. But it really depends on if the teams ahead of you in the wild card, this is like the most obvious sentence ever. If the teams in the wild card ahead of you continue to beat up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, sure, you are still
6.5 back now, right?
Yeah, you're 4.5 back of the division, 6.5 back of the wild card, because the Twins lost today, but the Royals played well the last two. They're 7-3 their last 10. The Red Sox lost today, but I don't know. I mean, we know how hard the Astros schedule is right now coming up. I mean, they've got 2 more left with the Orioles. Shout out Anthony Santander. I saw some Santander comments earlier. Heck the Astros. They've got Philadelphia after that, and then the Royals. They play, but see, the issue is they play the Royals. They play the Royals in Houston, so the Royals can't cheat against the cheaters. Unfortunately, they play Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and then they've got Arizona back at home. So it's like, yes, it is a tough stretch of schedule for them, but you know what you need to do is, as the Mariners, you need to just continue to win. You just need to play the team in front of you. If you can get 22 to 24 wins the rest of the way, that would go insane.
I mean, if they go 24-9,
yeah,
the rest of the way,
and 89-73,
yeah,
that'd be crazy pace. Yeah.
Scott Casey with the 199, Blowers for third base coach, Brett Boone for first base coach, Edgar for hitting coach, and Junior is the bench coach. Screw it.
Just bring them all.
Make it happen, boys. Make it happen. Imagine this team wins the World Series. If this team, oh God,
I will get a full back tattoo of Dan Wilson's face.
Clip it, Jack. Clip that. I already said if they win the World Series, I'm getting a trident tattoo. So, but Joe's getting Dan Wilson's face on his back. So you'll sell a testicle, Boomer. All right, bet.
Perfect.
Clip that, chat. Yeah, if this team wins the World Series, I never thought that I would say that I'd be annoyed. Oh my God, Russell Brandon for their base coach.
Russell Brandon mentioned.
We're gonna build my entire coaching staff here in a second of just guys I've loved for no reason. Here we go. But let me finish this. I never thought that I would say that I would be annoyed by the Mariners winning the World Series. But if the Mariners win the World Series under the 95 pandering coaching staff, my God, 95 will never go away.
But can you imagine, what better script, you know?
Right, true. Well, it's like people always talk about 95 as the Mariners' best season, right? Obviously, winning the World Series would be their best season, but they win it with the guys from 95. Oh, God. Be crazy.
The documentary eventually would go absolutely insane. Who is playing young Edgar, playing for the team in 95, and who is playing hitting coach Edgar in 2024? Let's give it 10 years time. I think old Edgar at that point, I actually have no idea. There's going to be some actor that's not going to make... Pedro Pascal will play old Edgar in the Mariners documentary that comes out in 6 years after they win the World Series this year. Young Edgar, I have no idea, but Pedro Pascal is my pick for old Edgar.
Harrison Ford's playing Dan Wilson or something.
Oh my God, they're gonna have to DH Harrison Ford to hell, dude.
Okay, so my coaching staff of my favorite just random Mariners throughout the years. Okay, pitching coach is Arthur Rhodes.
Arthur.
Your hitting coach is Daniel Vogelbach. Okay. Your bench coach is Daeho Lee. All right.
Interesting. Okay.
Your manager. Your first base coach is Russell Brandon.
Who's your manager going to be?
My manager is going to be... I'm going with guys that were random that I really liked.
Oh, okay. So randos.
My manager, are you ready? I want you to guess who my manager is.
Well, I was going to say one that makes a lot of sense in my head would be Raul Ibanez.
Right.
Who's your manager? I don't know, Jeremy Reed?
No, God, no.
Braden Bishop?
No, a good guess though.
I have no idea.
Jason Bay.
Why Jason Bay?
I loved Jason Bay. I have so many like Facebook memories of me like posting about, oh, he came to the Mariners, so he's good now. Ha ha ha. Like he's gonna come here and be so good because I thought he was the shit when he was with like the Pirates, obviously. You know what I mean? And it's like
Swaggy Bichette, thank you for subscribing.
oh god, dude. Oh god, who's my third base coach? Guys that I had like a weird affinity to. Rob Johnson.
I love you, Rob Johnson.
I'm
sorry, Rob Johnson.
Uh, who would make a better A-Rod impression, Joe or Colton? Joe, 100%.
A-Rod impression? We're not doing that.
Joe has literally, Joe's swing is crafted after Alex Rodriguez's.
Oh, that's what we mean by impression, not voice impression. Got it.
Oh yeah.
Got it. Anyways, how did Randy lose his aura? He's probably just sad he's not in the Trop anymore. He's going through seasonal affective depression. He is sad.
He's the first person to ever be sad about not being in the Trop.
Well, being in Florida, not having some sunny weather.
Fair. Dude, today was a terrible day. It literally felt like November today in Washington.
Really?
It pissed rain all day. I think we had a high of like 60. It was bad.
It was cloudy here for the most part until like 6 and then it broke through, but
that's tough. Jeremy Reed was my guy until come to find out he's an asshole. So
is he really?
I believe that he like everybody hated him apparently.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
I'd have to go back and look up what happened, but yeah, apparently he was not a great dude.
Shame.
Didn't rain for you, Andrew? Really? That's crazy. It literally felt like fall today. It did. It was very fall vibes today, Yesenia. I saw I think it was Felipe actually that asked if we had any tattoos. No, neither of us have tattoos, unless Joe has one he's not telling me about. But
I've been hiding it from you this entire time.
Boog Powell might be up there.
Yo, that Boog Powell's a name.
I loved Boog Powell.
There's a player for I think he's for the Orioles. Like, I don't remember the era, but let me go look.
You mean OG Boog Powell?
OG Boog Powell in the 60s and 70s. I went to a card shop when I was like 10. And it was my first time like ever being there, and I bought some, and this guy gave me, like the card shop owner gave me like a stack of like 40 cards of like legends, essentially. There's like a Willie Mays, like a Mickey Mantle, like a bunch of them in there. For just like my first time visiting, and in there was like some sort of like, I guess like a version of like a refractor Boog Powell for whatever reason. Nice. I don't know why, but apparently, news to me, 1970 MVP finish, like winner, Boog Powell.
Third baseman, right?
First baseman and left fielder is what it says.
First baseman, okay.
Finished second in the MVP in 69 the year before. So Boog Powell was a gamer, apparently.
Yeah. I know about him because of Boog Powell that we had.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, there used to be another Boog Powell, right? Yep. This win has to tell these guys that this season isn't over yet. If the season was truly dead, then this is a game the Mariners lose 100 times out of 100. Yeah, absolutely. Like, going forward, this game hopefully revitalizes this team because obviously they need it. But at the same time, it shows what a lot of these guys are capable of, stringing hits together like that. So I think that hopefully moving forward, they're able to put the more big innings together like that.
I don't want to like get my hopes up necessarily. I mean, they're already there, but I don't want to think that like they will be able to do some sort of stretch like that consistently again. Like, especially like, not to discredit the players that it was, but is Polanco, Haniger, Turner, and then what? Rivas,
yeah.
And then Rayleigh did a little blooper as well. And then Julio. Pitching change, of course. Pitching change mattered tremendously there, right? Then it's Julio, Cal, Randy with a chance to give you the lead there and just can't break through. I mean, Ryan Walker just was absolute filth. Struck out 5 in his 2 innings. Like, I mean, bro's 64 games this year. He's pitched 67 innings. He struck out 87. He's got a 2 ERA with a .88 WHIP. I don't think that's counting tonight's stats as well. Probably hasn't been updated. Like, they were never going to get hit off of him after he came in. But
no, he looked so good. I was not familiar with your game,
Ryan Walker.
but wow. Yeah, people are talking about, catching the Astros. The Astros have a tough stretch right now. The Mariners play San Francisco and then play Tampa Bay at home. If the Mariners can find a way to be, 3-ish games back when Houston comes to town, or no, are they going to Houston? I don't know.
They are playing in Houston from
Houston?
The 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
So if they can find a way to be, a couple games back, the Mariners will truly hold their own destiny in their hands when they go to Houston. And I think that is all you can ask for with where this team is at right now, is going to Houston with a chance to overtake the division when they get there. Mm-hmm. And not to say it's going to be easy, of course, but Houston still has not gotten Kyle Tucker back. We know that Bregman's had his issue with his elbow. They've had their issues, and their pitching staff has become one of the better ones that we've seen in a while. Framber's been great. Ronel Blanco, I think he's cooled off a little bit compared to when he threw that no-hitter earlier in the year. But Hunter Brown figured it out. Like, there's a lot of moving parts right now with the Astros, and their offense is right back where it was, in years past. So if there's a chance, I'm not going to say it's a good chance. Like, it was interesting how I felt today watching the Mariners game, because I did not care one bit when they were giving up runs.
Yeah.
I just literally was like, oh yeah, there goes the home run. All right. And then I wasn't invested at all. I didn't care, because I was like, I felt so defeated over the past, it's probably a defense mechanism, for how many times this team has hurt me. But I'm just like, there goes another home run. Oh, whatever. Oh, it's 5-1. Team has 2 hits going to the 8th. They lose this for sure. And then they didn't. And that's just what the Mariners do to you, man. They just pull you right back in. And I think that it's obviously not over until it's over. There's a long road ahead for the Mariners with not a whole lot of time left.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this to themselves. And now if they can crawl their way out of it, sick. But I don't know, man. We got about a little over a month now to see where this team ends up, and God, I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the schedules ahead. J.I. is kind of saying something that I was looking at. As far as contenders the rest of the way the Mariners play, and not to say that we've looked terrible against the Angels. We looked terrible against the Tigers. Does playing contenders really matter for the Mariners specifically? Maybe it will now in the Dan Wilson era, but we've got 3 against the Angels. The Astros have 7 left against the Angels. We also, the Padres are no slouch as well. It's 2 more games in there, but
I think we have 7 versus the Athletics, right?
We do, whereas the Astros only have 3, I believe. So there's definitely, the Mariners have an easier schedule on paper the rest of the way. Do I think that the Astros are going to, like I said, they need to go 21-13 to get to 90 wins. I think that's possible for them. But it's also reasonable to believe that they were struggling earlier on in the year. If somehow they start slumping at the right time for the Mariners, things could switch. 4.5 with 33 to go is not impossible. It's just, you wish that they maybe could have gotten 1 or 2 more from Detroit or Pittsburgh. Just 1 or 2 more wins. And it looks all that more salvageable, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Coming into this last month of the year, you obviously have to start looking at what went wrong. And you look at the Angels series, you look at the Tigers series. Those are the 2 that stand out in my mind when I think back on how this season has gone so far. Those are the 2 there's definitely games early in the season that you can look at and be like, what the hell? Those are games you probably should have won. And you, at the end of the season, you look back on, maybe you missed by 1 game, which happened all too often for the Mariners in the past few years. You look back on it and you're like, well, if they would have won this game that they ended up losing, we wouldn't be here. So I don't necessarily know how you can look at this season at the end of the year. Let's say the Mariners do miss the playoffs by a couple of games. How you can look at this season and not point to literally how they played against the Angels and how they played against the Tigers and say that was the nail in the coffin. But they've also played decent versus decent teams, so I'm not really sure. Like, the Mariners are such an enigma right now. It's been a tale of 2 seasons, and I really hope they can find a way to split it into like 3 different parts where they were really good at the start, terrible in the middle, and then really good at the end. You know, let's hope that's the case.
We're in the rising action of the plot right now.
Right? Yeah. We're gonna get to the climax, and then it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be messy.
It's gonna be really messy.
Need to bring the refuse to lose vibes. I mean, if there was ever a game that felt like refuse to lose vibes, stringing together 6 hits in the 8th can definitely feel very akin to that. Colin Snyder, I've seen a lot of Colin Snyder love. Yeah, dude's an absolute beast. I thank God the Mariners pitching lab had one come out right this year. They've needed him. Jimmy Garcia going on the injured list is bad, regardless of his success with the team. Him going on the injured list is never a good sign, right? You don't really have a great update on Santos. So it's like, it's Munoz and it's Snyder, realistically. And Chargois, I think, has looked pretty solid in his time.
Haven't gotten a lot of work, though, which I find interesting.
I think it's been, I guess, like intermittent, and then maybe it's like situations that they maybe didn't feel like he would be best utilized. But like, if you get Munoz and Snyder as like your 1 and 2, and then Chargois and like Spire, if he can somehow get back to the very beginning of this year and like more like last year, that's a good 3-4, I'd say. It's not perfect. It's definitely not what you probably envisioned going into this year, or maybe even after the deadline, after you acquired Garcia and you had Santos like coming back soon. But like, it's better, or maybe not. Better is probably not the right word. It's serviceable, for lack of a better term. Rip Scott, but you can make it work. Yimmy's on the IL. I said Yimmy that time. Jimmy is on the IL. Yeah.
Taylor show. Yeah, I think Taylor's been a guy that has looked really good recently. The biggest thing for me with him is his command. Like, I worry that his command gets away from him a little bit and he leaves pitches over the middle of the plate, but so far it hasn't been that big of a deal. So, in terms of a Mariners bullpen next year, Joe, who do you think is like a lock to stay right now?
I think any of the 4 that I already said. Troy Taylor for sure. Matt Brash. He seems like he'll be back pretty early next year. Like, the way that his throwing program and stuff, like his recovery has gone super well. Brash, obviously. Felipe is saying DFA Santos. I don't know if it's like he does his injury proneness situation. I don't think is uncommon for whatever. Like, I can imagine a player of his size and his, like, I guess, like, ferocity being injured like that. Like, a guy that has all the tools to just be lights out but can never stay healthy. That feels like Gregory Santos. Hopefully he can somehow dial his injury proneness in some way. If he can, so if it's reducing the velocity a little bit, if it's maybe not stomping around while he's covering first base. I don't know. Like, sometimes he looks like he just runs heavy, you know, he's heavy footed. Like, yeah, he's like coming at you. It's like, I don't know what the fix is there, but I would say, yeah, so Munoz, Snyder, Chargois. I feel like Spire's probably a lock. Troy Taylor's definitely a lock. I feel like he's earned his spot. Brash, if Santos is like Brash and Santos, if they're both available, and then you're looking at the last spot of like Voth, Thornton, Sauce, or you go out and find someone in the off season. Vargas, maybe, if he's ready. Like, there's definitely a lot of like moving parts, and there's a lot of guys that do have options available that you can play around with if you need to. Like, does Taylor necessarily have to start the year? Like, Troy Taylor have to start the year in the Mariners bullpen? I don't think it's like a must. I think he's probably earned it, and I think he has the stuff to be a part of it. But if there's someone, maybe they're like, okay, let's give him a chance, and we could send Taylor down. And then if it doesn't work out, then you're like, okay, Troy Taylor, you can come back. You can come play with the big dogs again, kind of a vibe. But I don't know. Are you in a different situation or like mindset with someone on that list?
No, I don't think so. I think that you're pretty spot on. I think Voth right now is the guy that you probably bring back. Like, if you're not, I don't know, because at the same time you look at like Logan Evans. Do they want to bring him back to the bullpen? Probably not, right? But like, do they instead in the offseason want to experiment with that again, or do they want to? I don't know. there's so many moving parts. Again, they need to add somebody, in my opinion, in free agency, and I don't necessarily know who's on the market next year or in the offseason, and frankly, it probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But they should probably add another guy to be paired with Munoz at the back end. Because yeah, Snyder's been good, but also, is he going to stay that way? I mean, for example, this year, Thornton hasn't been great.
Yeah,
Fire hasn't been great. Sauce hasn't been great. Guys that were amazing last year. This is how bullpens work.
It's the volatility.
And I think that there's a chance that happens next year. So you need to go out there and get the best guys available.
Mm-hmm. Watching pregame, seeing Dan and Edgar out there just made you smile. I think that's, aside from maybe John Stanton appearing in some of the photos in or around whatever, that's definitely the point, and that's a good thing, I think, for a lot of people. If there's the word to use is pandering. They like those decisions, whether or not they were premeditated from a while ago, kind of a thing, like with how Dan Wilson is not the interim, he is just the manager, how that kind of makes you feel. There's people that are going to be upset about it. There's people that are going to be like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't really I don't have a big attachment to the 95 team, being I was born in 1997, right? Like, that doesn't really affect me a ton. Like, sure, it's great history, but could they have named Christopher Negron the manager and been like, yeah, let's go? Like, it doesn't really like impact me a ton, but for those that it does matter for, like, that's great. That's awesome that like it's making that much of an impact and like potentially changing some of the fan morale around the team. And if it is pandering, hey man, it's working. It worked for a game.
That's the point. Like the whole point is that the guys, they went out there, they're like, oh yeah, let's go look at, these guys we all saw in 95, because this team frankly hasn't had much to cheer about for the last 25 years or what have you. So yeah, I think that is just the way that it's going to go the rest of the season. And like I said, if Dan is the guy, then so be it. Let him be the manager next year. But I would rather them go out and do a search in the off season, just in case Dan isn't the guy. And if they come back to, they interview a bunch of guys and they say, you know what, Dan was just the one, I hope that Dan stays. And same with Edgar. I mean, if they do the same thing for the hitting coach position, great. Then keep Edgar. Like, that's fine with me. But I was not born in 87, chat.
Oh, that's actually amazing.
I was born in 1996, chat.
It's the gray hair, dog.
God.
Oh, Richard, you just did him so dirty.
God.
Oh, that's so funny.
Unbelievable. Who on the current team would make a good manager? Cal.
Why is it always catchers?
Because they're the smartest.
Is that like what it is? They're just like the smartest, most like dedicated like to their craft players.
I think Cal would be a good one. Yo, Boomer. Farm players is the best shot to play next year. You guys are awesome, dude. Appreciate it, Boomer, with the $4.99 top D of the day. What happened, man? Tough life.
Listen, genetics, sometimes they don't go your way. The gray hair Colton's had gray hair since you were what, 14?
Have you guys been watching this team? How do you guys not have gray hair? I got my first gray hair when I was 12. Boomer, farm players with the best shot to play next year.
Cole Young,
I think other than like the Locklears and the guys that haven't been called up already, like Locklear and Bliss, I feel like can't count.
Sure.
Cole Young's the guy I think that makes the most sense.
I think Evans could be in there as well.
Logan Evans. Yeah, like if they need like a spot start or something.
Or if they trade someone in the offseason for bats, like a lot of people are going to be like, I don't want to use the term roster baiting because that gets us in trouble sometimes, but like theory crafting, if you will. Like people like trade Castillo for bats, trade Brian Wu for bats, like whoever. If you do that, you put Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock in at the 5, and the other one is then your 6 starter, and then you can sign someone that is your next Tommy Malone, Jonathan Hernandez in that situation. I could see that happening. So Logan Evans would probably be my second pick behind Cole Young.
I saw somebody ask earlier, and I'm sorry I missed who it was. When it comes to September call-ups, would you rather they call up a contact guy or a power guy? Contact. Absolutely. They need it. Like they've got plenty of guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. They need guys that can put the ball in play in the first place.
Yeah. J.I. asking who are the September call-ups. Ryan Bliss, I think, is the easy answer, provides you a lot of utility. on the field, there's Boomers 499. Appreciate it, dog. So second base, they've been playing him in the outfield down in Tacoma. Whether it's good defense doesn't really matter a ton. He can go stand out there and run down a ball. Probably better than Randy Arozarena will be able to, because he doesn't look like he cares. Ryan Bliss, if you put him out there, he probably cares a little bit. I think he also started at third base. Oh my god, I just ruined all of the stream labels.
Oh god.
Oh my god, I'm ruining them again.
Oh my.
They're so small. Ryan Bliss also played third. Was it yesterday? Something like that. So it provides you good defensive flexibility. Obviously, great speed tool. Has decent pop. Like, Bliss is the answer. As far as, I mean, they can call up one pitcher too, right?
Yeah, it'll be one pitcher and one hitter. Yep.
Hancock? Like, who's the pitcher?
Probably like Chris Davinsky.
Oh, I guess that's fair. You don't think they'll go Hancock to limit Woo's innings? Because they're probably going to shut him down soon, I'd imagine.
Woo's limited his own innings. Like, dude, what do you mean limited his innings? The guy was started of the year on the injured list. Yeah, would throw like one inning and get hurt like all of June and July. How many innings is this guy even at? Like,
he did do it to himself. He's at 80 2/3 in the bigs this year. Okay.
He's fine. Yeah, like, what did he throw last year? Combined?
Like one something.
Yeah, so last year in the bigs, he threw 87. In the minors in 2023, he threw 44. So he was up to like 120.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or 130, basically. He's fine. We find out Colton is Joe's older brother. That would make our family dynamics really strange.
Let's
anyway.
not. Let's just not.
What happened to Samad Taylor? He got hurt, right? Didn't he?
I don't
remember. You guys have thoughts on the M's facing the Mets and Williamsport to honor the Little League World Series next year? My thoughts are I really want to go.
That'd be fun.
That's my thoughts. I really want to go. Samad Taylor got traded? Did he?
No.
I didn't think so. Oh, that's Richard asking a question. Yeah, someone did ask earlier, of the guys that are in the starting rotation, who would you want to get traded? I think of all the guys it makes sense to trade, like Luis Castillo for budgetary constraints, I don't think you should trade him. He's the ace of your rotation for a reason. He might not be the best pitcher, but he's the established guy who's been doing it for however many years. Don't get me wrong, Logan's getting there. But you have Luis locked up. You know what you're going to be paying him, whereas the other guys are under, arbitration and whatnot. I think that the right move, depending on the bat that you can get, I'm probably either trading Brian Wu or Bryce Miller, but you have to get a hell of a bat in return. My face is red. Yeah, I mean, I got a red shirt. It's dark in here. My face is always just naturally rosy.
You're just getting cooked right now, my guy.
I know.
Let's be nice to Colton. Well, can you spit water through your tooth gap for me really quick? No. Out. Shame. I wanted you to do a trick for me.
Can I do it with soda?
It's up to you.
I have a water in my fridge. Hold on.
Perfect. Samad Taylor, for anyone that really cares, he last played on August 23rd against the Sacramento River Cats. So Samad Taylor's playing down in Tacoma. Colton's the hottest Mariners commentator ever to exist. Austin, I'm literally right here. You're just going to say that when I'm right here? Austin, I thought we had something special. You get a haul for any of our rotation arms? True. I mean, we should. They're freaking good. One Dan win at a time. Yes. Huh?
Why am I doing this?
Oh, we were just making fun of you, so I was going to make fun of your tooth gap.
Oh. I think my tooth gap's fun.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And it's fun. You can spray water at people, like, on command.
Like the camera?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how they're going to see it, but... Oh my god, they can see it? Richard, who is playing center for Pittsburgh? That is, I believe, Michael A. Taylor.
Yeah. I gotta dry off my camera.
Yeah, Michael A. Taylor previously played with the Twins last year. Chat. He was a Kansas City Royal for 2 years and was with the Nationals before that. So, Does Scott Servais make that third base steal call? I don't know if was that.
I don't think Dan made that third base steal call.
I'd be surprised if he did. I feel like Dylan was
Yeah.
just going on vibes, unless there was a moment where it showed him in the dugout where he was like rubbing his like underneath his chest, and that was the steal call,
Right.
the most obvious steal call ever. Him standing at the top of the dugout, just going, "Yes, of course."
Yeah, steal.
My chest is just itchy. That's crazy, Connor.
All right.
Get locked on
hey,
Mariners
Evan.
on here? No.
Nah, dude. Ty smells like rotten cheese, moldy cheese.
And Colby would yell about Josh Rojas trying to bunt for an hour. We don't need that.
Yeah, you could tell him we said that too.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't know I exist, probably.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You guys better put some respect on Dan the man. Dan, I love Dan. I just don't think that him being the manager is going to do anything.
It's done one game.
If it does, sick.
Yeah.
But
pretty sure Dan had to ask the coach find what he's just in there for the vibes. Like, what do I do next?
I do this?
Yeah. So wait, I walk out at the beginning of the game and give the lineup card to the umpire? I do that. That's me? Okay. I was gonna go catch the pregame warmups. I don't know. I do think the thing that is, I guess, most impactful for me outside of like bringing in new like voice into the clubhouse, whatever, them bringing in Dan Wilson, who has a very important relationship with Cal Raleigh, when it's a pretty pivotal time to try and maybe get him extended. I think that is probably like my biggest factor into what I think Dan will potentially help with. If the main thing is getting Cal Raleigh extended. So that'd be like, that's my big thing. But Babe Ruth doesn't exist, Richard, okay? He's not real.
Richard.
Richard's kind of being a dick, huh?
What the hell, Richard?
Dick Langford.
It's funny. Yeah, I saw somebody ask at the start of the stream, have you guys ever seen a more awkward like interview than with Dan's like pregame interview? No. He was just like
just super like, yep.
Yeah.
It's funny because like doesn't see, maybe it's got to be a different situation because like he's been in the broadcast booth. Right, he's been on there like plenty of times. Like I don't think he'd be one to be shy or awkward or nervous around.
Necessarily think. I think it's because of the situation that he was put in with the whole firing of Scott and all that. Like I think that's the thing that like makes it really, really awkward for him specifically.
And and he's been around the team. He probably knows like how much like impact Scott had, or like if some of the stuff that Passan was saying, the accent was saying that Scott did this and Ferris passed out at 31 flavors last night. Like, you know, it could be pretty serious kind of a thing. Like there's situations that like maybe Dan knows and and he probably feels uncomfortable in some of the situations, but I feel like as time goes on, he'll get more comfortable. They'll come more naturally. Doesn't really look like a manager. Looks like a guy who just does your taxes. Hey, sometimes those are the smartest people in the world. Maybe Dan Wilson's one of the smartest guys in the world. You never know. Show me your wooden teeth. Speaking of Robles, would he be able to express himself like he did with Scott to Dan? Because Scott and Julio are major factors in Robles signing here for an extension. I did see someone, I can't remember who it was, talking about like the Robles extension, how he must feel with Scott and how that like impacted him. I have to imagine that guys in the clubhouse have his back, and I don't think Dan is gonna like prevent him from being who he was or who he is, kind of a thing. Like I wouldn't expect that to change drastically. If there's a little bit of growing pains, maybe there's something that could happen there, but I'm not super worried about Robles not being able to be like his emphatic self.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that Dan knows who these guys are, and he's going to let them be themselves. Now, the one thing that I think that hopefully, and I don't know this for sure, obviously, because Dan, you know, we don't know his management style. The one thing about Dan that I hope is a little bit different than Scott, because again, I love Scott. Scott had his flaws, and you could say that, you know, oh, he had made bad management decisions or what have you. the fact of the matter is we'll never know how those were going to turn out. Like if he would have gone to Thornton instead of Saucedo, if this would have been better. However, the one thing I hope is different with Dan specifically is I hope he's not too afraid to kind of lay into guys a little bit, or maybe bench a guy if they're like
Randy bench tomorrow or batting in like 7, 8, or 9. I'm all in because like the lineup was very similar to the previous game. I don't think like how much impact Dan will have on like setting the lineup and stuff like that. Like how much really will be there. But I'll be curious to see if we see like notable, like tangible, noticeable changes, like you're saying, like laying into guys. Like I think either having Randy sit tomorrow because of his piss poor effort today, or having him bat in the lower third after batting cleanup, you go 0 for 5 with 2 Ks and your at bats just look horrendous. Like send him a message. Like I think that's a great shout from you.
And like there have been times where specifically Randy, he's kind of jogged to first base a little bit, like instead of running a ball out, bench him. Like, and I don't mean to just pick on Randy. There's been plenty of other guys that have had this problem. Julio's obviously is excusable with the whole ankle thing.
Robles sometimes with his hip, yeah.
Right, yeah. But like you see guys like Luke Raley always running balls out. Like that should be rewarded. That should. It goes back to literally Little League. That should be rewarded. And I think that maybe guys got a little too lackadaisical with Scott at the helm because they knew they could get away with it. And I hope that, if there's one tangible difference I think Dan can make, it is just that, is that maybe he is okay with, benching guys or laying into them. So Colton is a beautiful man. You chuds in chat should take notes. Thank you, Kyle Jones. I appreciate that.
Classic Kyle Jones, just being a
W. The Kirby emo, dude.
Evan, $1.99. Bet service doesn't go to Munoz in the 9th.
I actually wholeheartedly disagree with that, Evan.
If not Munoz, he probably goes Snyder. But I would say he does go Munoz there.
Yep, I think that he goes Munoz there, but we appreciate the $1.99 for your 10th super chat, man. Appreciate it. I personally think he goes Munoz there. Mm-hmm. Someone asked if we got any games planned. I missed who it was.
It was Yesenia.
Oh, was Yesenia? I'll be at tomorrow's game. Me and my parents will be there, and then we're gonna meet up with Jake.
Raise the Trident.
So, and then, Joe, we have some other games planned.
Oh yeah, in Oakland. I mean, games or game?
Maybe games. We'll see.
I need to look at the flight information that your father just sent me, but
yeah.
There's Evan's super chat on screen. Yeah, we're gonna be at least at a minimum the Wednesday game when the Mariners are in Oakland. Colton and his papa are gonna come down to be able to see the Coliseum before they leave the Coliseum for good. So that'll be exciting. If anyone's in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area-ish, you'll know where to find us on Wednesday the 3rd or 4th, whatever day that is. The Wednesday series. We not going to Oakland? Why not, Connor? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You don't care? You just don't care. Wow.
Name an easier stadium to have a meetup at than freaking Oakland.
Everyone
nobody there.
No one's gonna be around. But yeah, we'll be there. I mean, if you want to try and do multiple, the timing might just get a little funky, but we'll see.
What am I taking from the stadium?
Oakland's horrible? Yes. That's what makes it so good.
The sights and sounds. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's absolutely horrendous. That's why I want to go. I want to see it before it's gone, because I've heard so many horror stories about this stadium. And the fact that the next season they're not going to be there anymore. This is probably my last chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, screw it, let's go. And so, yeah, my dad and I are gonna fly down to Oakland and go with Joe to the game. So
it'll be I don't know. I don't know if I've got some weird bias and like heartfelt attachment to that dump, but I don't know. I always have a good time when I'm there. I don't think I've had a horror story being there, and I've been there like 10, 15 times since being down here, I'd say. I think it's been fine. My biggest horror story is watching Diego Castillo and Ty France fight over a ground ball for a walk-off Athletics win. That's like my biggest horror story, I'd say.
Come to the Yankees home game? like in Yankee Stadium.
I'll pass on that. Thanks though.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Overrated.
True. Mojo fans would literally be half the crowd. That is true as well. Should be able to snag a few balls. Yeah, I hope so. That'd be cool. Yeah, we'll have to sit in your famous seats, Joe.
We'll see. We'll see where we want to sit.
Start a fundraiser for the Cal Raleigh statue. Austin, I'm in. I'm pitching in. How much money do you get? You get 10 cents in Oregon for giving them a water bottle. I'm in.
Perfect.
Do a Mariner Mojo meetup in Oakland.
I mean, if people are there, you'll know where to find us, and it won't be hard because there's not many people there.
That's right. We'll be the two probably biggest dudes there.
No,
right.
They'll recognize your hair, which
That's
is always
true.
a good thing.
Somebody asked who my barber is. I mean, it's me. I go and get my hair cut, but in the end, it just does this. You know what I mean? Like, I just get a 2 on the sides and back, and like I leave like 2 to 3 inches on top.
Yep. This is back-to-back days where you're like saying your exact haircut, like
Accent
whatever.
Asked me yesterday or whatever. Was that yesterday?
Yeah,
that was yesterday, huh?
Yeah,
damn.
The Servais and Wilson stream. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that was literally yesterday. Man, it's been a long couple of days. But yeah, and so here we are. Imagine if Zach Campbell was in Oakland.
Fun fact: he was there last year when I went to one of the games, and I was probably within like 15, 20 feet of him. He was behind home plate just trying to snag some foul balls. I don't blame him.
Colton has like 12 callups. Yeah, dude. I have one bad one back here that's a pain in the ass, which is really annoying. I have like this side of my hair goes this way. This side goes this way. The back of my hair sticks out most of the time. It's crazy. $10 from Caleb. Love your guys' streams. Always love your vibes. Thanks for being around. Dude, Caleb, appreciate that, man. Dude, we love you being here. We love doing these streams. A lot of fun to be able to hang out with you guys. And honestly, it's just after a Mariners win, nothing hits harder than a good stream. So
Caleb.
All right.
Wish you guys were a jersey on stream once in a while. What kind of fans are you? Bro, I literally made my Victor Robles jersey. Like, what do you want from me?
Richard, I have like 77 jerseys hanging behind me.
I'm literally so dedicated, I made my own.
I have an autographed Daniel Vogelback jersey hanging behind me.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable that Richard would do that.
Crazy, Richard. This is the same guy that called me old. Richard, your name is Richard. That's another name for dick.
Classic.
Owned, Richard. Owned. You have only remembered that asked a question once. You keep answering them, but not remembering that I asked them. Oh, really, Supersonic? Sorry.
Just revisiting.
You want to steal Joe's Robles jersey? Yeah.
I mean, you'll
find belong on the radio.
You'll find out underneath it's not a Robles jersey.
Yeah, well,
it's a cursed jersey.
Do you mind?
Yeah, you're reading Tyler's chat about us being on the radio, and it's the first thing he checks every day, which is a W from Tyler.
That's a W, Tyler. Sorry you were interrupted by Joe, Tyler. But we appreciate you checking in on us every day. Maybe one day when the Mariners are good again, we'll have more content to upload every single day.
I don't want to remove the tape, but it's a Jared Kelenic jersey for anyone that maybe didn't already know.
Let's do a home run contest with the balls behind me? No.
Please.
All my autographed baseballs? No.
Please. You don't need them. They're just collecting dust. W's in the shot.
Chad. You thought it was a Julio jersey? Number 10 Julio jersey? Yeah. Better than looking like an old gray dick. It's true. It's true.
Wait a minute.
Hey, if the Astros somehow get into a bad record like us, then I feel like we might come down to game 162. It is possible. I mean, it'd be fun. You think I think my hair is gray? If the Mariners can't get it down to like the last game or two, my hair will be fully gray. Fully gray. Yeah, that's where my life's at. So,
do we need one more win to take the season series?
Yes.
Okay. To guarantee there's no tiebreaker, or to win the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a chance for a tiebreaker because they make it an odd amount of games, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Austin, I have heard. Actually, Austin, I haven't heard about how bad inflation's gotten. Can you tell me? you'd kill for a repeat of 1995, and that is exactly what John Stanton wants.
Hook, line, and sinker.
I make late 40s look like 20s. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Late 40s is the new 20s, guys. You heard it here first.
You guys remember Bucky Jacobson? Yeah, we look like him.
Do we?
You ever seen Bucky Jacobson?
Oh, like, I've seen the name. I don't know if I've seen the face.
Unfortunately, game 163 doesn't exist anymore, America stuff.
Oh my god, yeah. He's so bald though.
Yeah, he is bald now, that's true. If the Mariners get it to a game, Joe will make it clap on stream.
Okay, I'm sorry. Why? Why can't Colton make it clap on stream?
I ain't got no ass.
Who said I do?
You got more ass than I do.
Dude is a Viking. Bucky's huge, like 6'4". Yeah, and like we're sick. Get us in a trench coat, okay? And we'll be fine. We'll be like 12'1".
I was gonna.
And we'll be gigantic.
Kolish, what's up, man? You're at the game tonight for your birthday. Happy birthday, man. Good to see the ballpark loud. Yeah, it got loud there for a little bit. Man,
how deafening was it? Just quiet, deafening. Innings 1 through 7, though. Like the beginning of the game had to have been just maybe not. I mean, there was some boos when guys were striking out. I feel like I heard some boos over the broadcast.
Yeah,
I got ham hocks in them jeans. Pause.
Now hold up. Wait a minute.
The beers were flowing. There you go. That's all that
Rainier,
matters,
brother. Hell yeah, $5. Dye your beard red and shave, dude. I've told you guys, if we hit 15K by the end of the season, I will shave my head and I'll dye my beard red too. That'd be really hard to do.
I don't know how you're gonna dye that.
I would have to bleach it first.
Yeah, and am I gonna be the person that would have to help you?
Yep.
Make Kyle help you.
He doesn't have very steady hands.
You think I do?
Kyle legitimately has a disease. So.
My bad, Kyle. My bad. I have one like there's like 2 hairs in my beard that are already red, so maybe I should be the one that dyes it red. Because mine's not nearly as dark as yours, and mine's also blonde in like my chin. So maybe I should dye
it.
Would
be
beard.
Easier for you.
Yeah, what? Like again, I shaved my beard for the mustache on the trade deadline stream. I'll be the one to fall on the sword here again, just so you don't have to have any. You don't have to suffer any consequences. Okay. When?
That's my one. If we hit 15K, what do you mean?
So you're telling people to subscribe?
You guys should subscribe immediately.
I look like Jay Schlatt?
Yes, Scav. What can I do for you? You want it as red as Colton's face? Listen, chat. Okay. I have literally, what's it called?
Rosacea?
Yeah. My mom has it. I have it. All right. Listen, it runs in my family. How dare you guys make fun of my disease when we all could be making fun of Kyle's disease?
Yeah. Kyle Jones. Haha. Get wrecked.
Diseased.
That's so messed up.
So
for anyone that knows, we know Kyle.
Yeah, I work with Kyle.
And Kyle's my best friend.
Kyle's one of my best friends. Okay.
He's mine. So.
Well, you're still fat. With great haste, we must hit 15K subscribers. How dare you make fun or
bald
or hereditary diseases? You were gonna say diabetes. That's my disease, probably. Get the Buhner buzz cut? Apparently I need to. You think I don't go to high school, Scav? That don't make sense.
Yeah,
hold up.
Neither of us are currently in high school, so.
This guy just misinputted. Oh God. Yeah, I think that we've gone off the rails, chat. I think it's time for us to.
But yeah, I mean, you need to go to bed because you're going to the game tomorrow. You got to get rested up.
Yeah.
Go have your social battery. Get all ramped up.
Because that definitely goes away for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I, for one, would need my social battery charged.
So, anyways, guys, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us in the stream today. Another Mariners win, a W for the boys, and Dan Wilson getting his first W. Edgar Martinez getting, I don't know how many wins he got. when he was with the team before. But
As the
excited
hitting
to
coach,
have them both back. You know, it's a new era for the Seattle Mariners. So hopefully they're able to keep picking up more games on the Astros. So we appreciate you guys being in this one, and go heckin' Ners.
And heck the Astros.
The Astros.